Hello everyone. Recently, the US Congress has been in turmoil over information indicating that Russia is developing a new type of weapon. Although it does not physically harm humans or cause injury, its effects are truly devastating. It could set the US back decades in terms of development. So what exactly is this? Let's explore this together. In reality, the details of this weapon remain a mystery. Why is it a mystery? For many years, the three currently most powerful nations, Russia, China, and of course the US, have all been secretly researching new types of weapons. Although the Cold War is over, the study of weapons is a game that likely will never end. Recently, a US politician who leads the House Intelligence Agency disclosed information that Russia is developing a weapon that operates in space and threatens US security. Senators have also confirmed having this information and are gathering more details. The House is demanding that President Biden declassify the specifics about this weapon so Congress can discuss it and develop countermeasures. As you know, US intelligence has access to a lot of information. The president is also aware of this intelligence, but only urgent matters that need to be made public are actually declassified. Information that is not deemed critical usually remains classified and is not discussed in Congress. In this case, the intelligence community is still keeping the details of this mysterious weapon under wraps. Hence the House's demand for declassification in order to formulate a response plan. However, objectively speaking, there are likely two real scenarios that could be unfolding. The first is that if US intelligence has indeed gathered information confirming Russia is developing this weapon, the world may be facing very serious issues in the future, not just militarily, but in terms of many modern living activities, which we'll explore later in the video. The second scenario is that the US is simply spreading a rumor for some ulterior motive. What could that motive be? After the media repeatedly reported on the uproar in the US Congress about the dangerous weapon Russia is supposedly developing, Russia officially stated that there is no such weapon, accusing the US of spreading this information to urge Congress to increase defense spending against Russia. This explanation does seem quite plausible, especially considering the recent rejection of aid packages for Ukraine and Israel by the House. If Russia is truly researching new weapons that threaten US security, approving budget packages to counter Russia would be a logical step for the US. In any case, until now, nothing has been clarified. We should assess both possibilities. However, if Russia is indeed developing the mysterious weapon mentioned by US House intelligence, what could it be? To be honest, since we haven't seen this weapon yet, we can't know exactly what it is or what it looks like. However, according to circulating information, analysts believe that although its name is unknown, its purpose is to destroy en masse the satellites of adversaries, specifically the thousands of US, Western, Chinese, and private satellites like those of Elon Musk's SpaceX. Destroying a few satellites may seem routine and not too serious, right? Unfortunately, if satellites are taken out, human life could be set back an entire century, an extremely dire consequence. Let's look at this in more detail. Nearly 70 years ago, in 1957, humans, more specifically, the Soviet Union, launched a rocket carrying the first artificial ball of steel into space, orbiting the Earth. This marked the beginning of an era of man-made objects following orbital paths around the Earth. We now know them as satellites. Up until now, nearly 5,000 satellites have appeared orbiting the Earth day and night, tens of thousands of kilometers above the surface, resembling a swarm of bees around a hive. If this swarm of satellites is destroyed or rendered inoperable, what would happen? First, the majority of our internet activity would experience issues, mainly overloading, because the internet is not only transmitted through terrestrial fiber optic cables and undersea cables, but also via satellites. When satellites stop functioning, bandwidth would be forced down to Earth, causing hundreds of millions of internet connections to be disrupted and overloaded. You may have to wait an entire month to download a Japanese silent film, or a Russian one, depending on your preference. At that point, if you want to watch something interesting, you might have to invite me over to stream it live from my laptop. In short, overloaded networks would make activities like watching YouTube very difficult. Additionally, many internet-reliant activities would be disrupted, such as ride-hailing services, deliveries, train stations, air travel, electronic payments, security cameras, weather forecasting, all would be impacted. However, this may not be an extremely serious problem, since even without technology, people wouldn't die. But the next issue is more severe. The global GPS system would also disappear. GPS is crucial for transportation, especially for unmanned vehicles like planes and ships. If GPS were to suddenly vanish after being available, many serious accidents would occur. In everyday life, imagine not being able to use navigation maps to give directions. Additionally, GPS not only provides positioning capabilities but also accurate time synchronization, which many modern systems rely on for precision and speed. If synchronization is disrupted, ripple effects would occur from the power grid to banking. Normally, a banking transaction is immediately recorded, but if GPS causes timing discrepancies, transactions would fail. This could cause many businesses to lose billions and be cut off from banks, triggering a severe financial crisis. This assessment comes from the executive director of the Office of Commercial Services at the U.S. Department of Commerce. Most critically, though, the U.S. military systems would be crippled or ineffective. Satellite capabilities are currently seen as the backbone of the U.S. military. Everything from communications to GPS depends on satellites. Without them, unmanned aircraft, missiles, and even military units would struggle to coordinate normally. It can be said that U.S. military strength would be greatly diminished. As a result, the U.S. has spent an additional $5 billion to develop systems to counter space-based attacks. According to astrophysicist Michel Noel, it could take the U.S. 11 years to rebuild and reconnect thousands of destroyed satellites to restore normal operations. Far too long a period, during which the U.S. may face attacks without an ability to retaliate, potentially allowing China to take over as the new superpower. So, if Russia is truly developing such a weapon, it's understandable why the U.S. Congress is in turmoil.